Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'll be walking us through the exploitation of a misconfigured Kubernetes cluster, which is a lab from TryAcme. If you're interested in Kubernetes security or cloud security, you're going to find this video useful. I had already started my target machine, as you can see, and this gives us enough time to allow it to boot. The containers are really cool, but they have security considerations just like everything else. So we need to break into the box and then figure out how to get to root access. This box will require some research into how to use micro Kubernetes. So what's our story? Two developers are venturing into the world of Kubernetes. Little do these developers know that their lack of understanding in Kubernetes, containers, and Git has left their resources open to exploitation. Nice. The first thing I do, I'm going to run a quick scan using rust scan. So I run rust scan. Okay, let me copy my IP first. I'm going to copy the IP address of my target machine. The name of this room is Frank and Herbie make an app. I'm going to copy my target IP address, and I come to my terminal. I run the rust scan -a, Control Shift V, and this gives us, okay, we are already getting our results, and in a minute or two, we should be done with our results. Okay, now that we've identified our services and the open ports, let's see how many we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to run a deep scan using nmap on the available ports first. Okay, nmap. Let's start all over. Nmap. We want an aggressive scan on this specified ports 22. We have 3000. We have 10250. We have 10255. 10257. 10259. 16443. 25,000. 31337, and also 32000. Then we put the target IP and we run. So this may take a while. Okay, we wait for that to run. We can see that we have SSH running. We have 10 open ports, and that shows that we have a large attack surface to work with. Let's just hope that we have something juicy soon. Great, we have our scan results, and we can see that we have the port number, the state, the service running, and also the version in some cases. We have port 22 open running SSH. That one is established. We have 3000, which is open PPP. Looks like HTTP. We have Golang, the HTTP server. We have, okay, okay. So there are basically two things of interest now, two ports of interest, the 3000 and also this 31337. So I'm going to manually inspect this. We can see this is HTTP and we have Nginx here. I'm going to manually inspect this using my Firefox. So I come in, I type HTTP, the IP address, and port 3000. I also do the same for the other two HTTP, the second HTTP ports. of, what am I saying? The second port running HTTP of interest. Yeah. Thank you. Almost lost my train of thoughts. We have Rocket Chat here. Okay. Let's see. Admin. Not now. User not found or incorrect password. We just like do the usual manual enumeration, check the page source, see if we can find anything interesting. I'd already done this, so I wouldn't be wasting much of our time. The other part that is of interest is this. Okay, we see something here about services, contacts. Okay, let's check the page source if we have anything of interest. So this is just doing manual enumeration to see if we can grab something or find something useful. If we come back to our question, we were asked what parts as a web page Frank was able to stand up. This looks like it, right? This is a web page. So we are going to type 31337. That's the port number. What did Frank leave exposed on the site? Usually, I would have used what I call go buster. What I will do next is called the directory enumeration. Now, we know we have our ports, open port on 31337, and we have HTTP running on it. I'm going to do what I call directory enumeration. Control L, let's clear the terminal using GoBuster. However, GoBuster didn't yield much results. So what I resorted to was to use directory search, which is also a very good tool. So to do that, we are going to run directory search. Okay, that you against our URL, that's our IP address and the open port. You have to specify the port because HTTP is not running on the default port 80, it's running on 31337. So we have to specify the port to have it run. So this is going to do what it is meant to do, search for directories that we can't find manually. And once we have our results, we are going to see it on the terminal. Okay. Okay, we already have something, git credentials, or we have a file that is supposed to be private. We have it. Git credentials actually store, like the name implies, credentials. So let's come here and type git credentials and see .git credentials. As you can see, we have it downloaded. So most likely it contains our credentials either in plain text or in encoded form. We are going to open that to see what we have. Then we copy this. We know it is encoded in URL form. So we copy this and we come to our cyberchef. Yeah. I'm going to delete this and paste what we have. Then, okay, the magic mode is running. If it doesn't give us the answer that we need, I'm going to do what we call URL decoding. I come here to search URL decode. As we can see, we have a username Frank and we also have this password. This is the IP address for this credential in quotes, but we can always try to see if this credential is going to work on other services running on the target machine. I'm going to copy this, and the next thing I would try to do is to come to this chat and see if we can log in using that credential. Frank, and I input the password. I try to log in. this does not work. Let's not forget that we have SSH open on this target machine. From our previous scan, we have it open on port 22, as we can see here. Yeah, we have it open on port 22. So the next thing I would like to do, I want to leave this running. So I'm going to open a new tab, Ctrl Shift T. Then I'm going to try to SSH into this machine, our target machine. Let me check our IP address once again. We have, oh, okay, let's answer this question. What did Frank leave exposed on the site? As dots git credentials. We have a file exposed on the site. What is the user.txt flag? Let's see if we have enough time on the machine, or I may need to extend. We had just 1 hour. Let's see how far we can go. 1066, 176, 159. Okay, good. Let me do this. Yeah, good. So we have it side by side. I want to SSH as Frank to this IP 10.66.176.159. Yeah. Yes. It's asking for Frank's password, which I had already copied, but let me copy again. And I paste Ctrl Shift V, enter. Okay. Yes, we are in. Let's check on our directory search if it is still running. Because maybe we have something useful. Interesting. Why can't I find it? Oh, okay. Task is already completed. Assets, assets, 4, 3, 4, 3. Okay, good. We are in as Frank. So what we need to do now is to check and enumerate what we have in. Let's see what we have. Let's see what we have access to and what we can do. Usually, I would run sudo hell to check password for Frank. Enter. User Frank may not run sudo on. So sorry. That means I'm not root. I don't have that privilege yet. Let's just list what we have. Let's list the files in this directory. We have user.txt. Let's check the contents. Cat user.txt. Then we have our first flag. Copy. And then we come here. Control V. Frank D tank. Okay, good, good. We're making progress. The next thing I may want to check is the running processes like BX, AOX. Let's see, that helps us. And we can see that we have micro Kubernetes running just as we got from the information that was given. So what I would like to do is just check if I can run this command, micro Kubernetes kubectl -h. Okay, good. It means we can run these commands. We can run the kube control command using micro Kubernetes. It is evident that we are inside a Kubernetes cluster, right? And to move on, we need to understand that we have, okay, yeah, the next thing I would like to do is to check my permissions, what I can actually do, right? So I run micro Kubernetes because this determines how far I can go and how much I can do. But can I list to see what permissions I have and the access. Great. We can see we have the wildcard for the resources, for the non-resource URLs, and for the verbs. This does not mean that we are admin. It does mean that we have cluster admin level privilege. So since this service account has cluster admin level privilege, we are not root in code, but we can still do a lot of things. I'll just try to enumerate further. So micro Kubernetes, micro Kubernetes, kube control. Let me increase this. Yeah. And also, let's see. Um, have successfully increased the font size, so we can see Control Shift plus. Yeah. So micro Kubernetes kubectl, kube control, right? So get ports. Let's see the ports that we have. We have the engine hex. Okay. Let's see get ports. Let's see everything. Shift A. Okay, we have the name of the pods and the namespaces in which they are in. We can see this Nginx deployments. We also have in the default namespace, we have two in the kube system. We have one in container registry. Okay, we have four in the kube system. I'm going to put my focus on this one, the one in the default namespace. So I say micro Kubernetes, kubectl, get ports, this name. I'm going to copy this and I paste it, Ctrl Shift V from the default namespace, and I want it output as JSON. Let's check what we have. Oh, good. So in all this now, the main thing I'm interested in, since I am a service account that have cluster admin level privilege, I do not have root access, but I can create pods. I have I can create pods. I have access to the resources, the non-resource URLs, and I can also run commands with this wildcard. That means I can literally do anything. What I would want to do is to create a privileged pod that I'm in charge of, that I can talk to and is going to do what I want it to do. Now, in order to do this and do it in a very normal way such that it won't be flagged, I need to mimic something that is already in the system. So to do that, I need this image here. In order to create my own pod, I need to first create my manifest. So I'm going to run nano, let's name it frank.yaml, right? Come back to my own machine. I think I have something called, yeah, so cat frank, copy this. Okay, copy it. This is a privilege pod. This is a manifest for a privilege pod. I'm going to use cancel. I'm going to paste. Yeah, good. We have it here. This is a privilege pod that is going to mount the host file system. Okay, let me see what I'm doing here. I'm going to change this image ID. I come here, Control O. Let's save this first. Control O, Enter, and Control X. We close. This is what I need in order to blend, yeah, and avoid issues. I'm going to copy the selection and I open my manifest again. Then I come here and I replace this information here. I'm trying to mount the host root file system into this my privileged pod so that I can do whatever I want with the pod. This is actually a privileged pod. We can see the commands that it runs. We can also see the arguments that it sends. And we can see the path that we want it to say. So it's going to mount it in this directory, this host directory. It's going to mount the roots host file system into this directory called host. So everything I want to do, I can conveniently do it from that directory, which is the host. I paste it in. I do Control O, Enter, and Control X. Before I go, we can see that the name of the pod is Frank, and we can see that it is a very privileged pod. We have the privileged historic mounting the host file system, the root file system into the host directory. We have these various commands, and also we have the arguments that can be sent to it. These are like the verbs. Now, in order to get this, there was this great directory, excuse me please, on GitHub that had it. So I just like try to tweak it when I need to tweak it. It's a very good pod, it's a very good directory too. So I'm going to exit here, Control X, and I need to create my pod with this manifest. So I say micro Kubernetes, yeah, kubectl, um, kubectl, and I tell it that in the default namespace n default internet great. In the default namespace, I need you to apply this manifest, this file called frank.yaml. Okay. Okay, let's check if truly the pod has been created. kubectl get pods in the default namespace. Enter. See, we have our nginx that was initially there, and now we have our pod called Frank that is running. So the next thing I want to do is to execute into this pod so that I can further enumerate as a privileged user in quotes. So I do micro Kubernetes kubectl, right? And I tell it that in the namespace called defaults, I want to execute commands in the pod called Frank. I need it to be interactive. And also I want, space bash. I want a bash shell that is interactive, basically. So we are going to see that we are in the pod, and we are there as roots. So if I write, who am I? We are roots, which is good. Don't forget that from our manifest, we've mounted the roots file system into the host directory. So I'm going to list the content of this directory, and as you can see, I have what we called home here. Was it home or hosts? Not sure. Home hosts. Okay, so I'm going to navigate to home, cd home. Why? Yeah, let's see what we have. Let's list the contents. LSLA. Okay, let's go to hosts. Um, host cd hosts. Is it hosts? LSLA. No. LSLA. Yep, good. And we told it to mount the roots, right? Let's see. cd roots ls. So we have our roots.txt file, cat roots.txt. Basically, you just have to remember the directory with which you mounted the host file system, and from there we can move and do what we need to do. So since it was mounted in home, everything on the host file system was moved there. So enter, and we have our second flag called micro Kubernetes is fun. I'm going to copy this and paste my answer here, and we are going to check. Hmm. At this point, we have successfully escalated from web access to user access to Kubernetes admin and also to the host level root access. This is based on the fact that there is a misconfiguration that allowed service accounts to be able to perform a lot of things, privileged things. Initially didn't have access to the roots, but because I could do a lot of things, I created a pod that I gave permissions to mount the file system I didn't have access to initially onto it. So once it is done, I executed it and also get to enumerate and find sensitive credentials, sensitive files. So basically what we've done what we called web testing and also a Kubernetes testing. Now, with this, I've actually come to the end of this lab. If you found this walkthrough useful, feel free to like it and subscribe. Also, you can share it with anyone that is learning Kubernetes security. Thank you very much. Bye.